Hi, everyone. Welcome to JM's podcast. I'm Angus, and today we'll be demystifying web development. Now, whether you're curious about how websites are built or considering a career in tech, you're in the right place. Now, let's dive into the topic demystifying web development, understanding how websites work and why it's an excellent career choice. And today, we have a very special guest joining us. Welcome Dennis Santoso, a skilled software engineer with extensive experience in web and software development. Dennis has worked on a variety of innovative projects, including the award-winning GameStonk Simulator and Finest. His diverse technical background spans front-end and back-end development, and he's currently mentoring future tech professionals through ACM, the Association for Computing Machinery, a global professional organization for computing professionals. We just can't wait to dive into the insights that you have for us on the IT industry, Dennis. So we're delighted to have you here. Would you like to extend your greetings to the viewers?
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you, Angus. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello to all the listeners. I'm excited to dive into today's topic and share what I've learned from my journey in web development.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is web development?
Yeah, so web development is essentially the process of building and maintaining websites. So it is divided into two main areas, whereas there's like one front end and the other one is called back end. So the front end is what users see when they visit a site. Things like the design, the layout, the interactive element, the colors, while the back end is what makes everything run behind the scenes. So the server, database, application logic, which both are like crucial to creating a seamless user experience. Think about it like a restaurant. So in the back there's the kitchen that cooks the food, and on the front end is basically where people sit down and order. Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds very interesting. I mean, we use websites every day, and it's
Mhm.
no surprise that people are flocking to that as a career. So, could you perhaps tell us more on the details of why web development is a growing career industry?
Of course. Um, Web development is booming because almost every industry going digital. They want to be shown to the world by anyone, everyone. And whether it's like e-commerce, healthcare, education, or businesses, they all need website and web application to reach out to their customers, or the other way around. As more companies move online, the demand for skilled web developers continue to grow. So basically, the best part is that the demand isn't slowing down as new technologies and tools keep emerging. Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for sharing. And of course, another facet which is hugely affecting the web industry is AI.
Mhm.
And with its rapid development at the moment, how is it advantageous or disadvantageous for the industry?
Um, well, AI is definitely changing a little bit for basically like the whole idea of web developers. But on the plus side, it basically helps you automate routine tasks like code generation, testing, website maintenance. So basically, kind of like helps you out on the side, kind of like free up more time for you to focus on more difficult tasks. So basically, it's kind of like your assistants that will help you all the time. And you can also be more creative because you don't have to worry about the small things. You can just worry about the big thing. You can do more complex stuff.
Mhm.
But however, some roles that rely on basic repetitive tasks might shrink as AI become more capable. So that's kind of like the downside. Um, so basically, it creates a new opportunity, but you just have to keep exploring and like learning. So you can integrate AI into new projects and making the job more dynamic and exciting. Mhm.
Mhm. So in that case, do you see if AI will be fortuitous for the future of the web development industry?
Yeah, of course. Because in general, AI was created to help us do things. Basically, it's basically to be like kind of like our assistants. If let's say like you've always been doing this simple task every day, and it kind of like takes up some of your time, where let's say like it takes up an hour of your time to do this easy repetitive task, you can let the AI do it instead, and then you can focus on the bigger and like harder project that you have to do. Mhm.
So on a daily basis in your work, what kind of skills and tools do you use to build websites?
Yeah, things like the basic HTML, and CSS, and JavaScript, where HTML is the structure for the content, like setting up the tables and chairs in a restaurant. And then CSS kind of like styles everything. So like adding the decoration and ambience, making it's kind of like making the place look inviting. So that's where like all the colors come in. And JavaScript is basically what makes the website interactive. So like the waiters that serve the food and engaging with the customers. So like all the motions when you see on the website when you click a button and there's like randomly like a puddle of water behind it, or like something moving in the website, that's basically JavaScript. And for more advanced project, you will also work with like things like framework such as React or Angular on the front end. And then there's like things like Node.js or Python for the back end, like the server side. So, oh yeah, and we also use a thing called version control. So we use Git for this to make sure it manages the code, make sure it's always up to date. And if there's any changes needs to be done, you can always move back to the previous version. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I mean that sounds super interesting. And how hard is it to learn these kinds of tools? I mean, how long does it take on average for a student to be proficient enough in them to apply it to their work?
Of course. So learning tools like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript would be the most like the start. It can be kind of challenging. If a student is dedicated and follow a structured path, they can start building basic websites in about 3 to 6 months. Of course, hands-on practice is the key. If they focus on real-world project while learning, they'll pretty much be ready to apply their skills in a professional setting way faster that way. So I would say a lot
Okay.
of practice is needed.
Hmm. Okay, thank you, Dennis.
Mhm.
So now let's maybe explore the different career paths within web development. Could you outline for us what they might be?
Of course. So in web development, there are several paths you can take. You can focus on front end, where it's basically what the users see, so more color, more designing. Or you can go for backend developers, where it's more server side, so you don't really see that much color, but the front end couldn't really work if the backend isn't there. So like the kitchen, the back kitchen, and the front where the table for the customer is at. There's also a thing, it's more advanced, called full stack development, where you gotta learn both front end and back end and combine them. So that's like more advanced. And then there's also like a specialized roles like solely focusing on UI UX design. So all you do is basically designing. There's also DevOps, where you combine development and operation for software delivery. So more like automation. But yeah, pretty much each role offers different challenges and career progression opportunities. Mhm.
Mhm. I mean, I have no doubt that each of these roles offers unique challenges and rewards, especially full stack development. That sounds like a handful.
Mhm.
And of course, allowing for all different types of career progression opportunities. But we all want to know what is the educational background to get into this career of web development, especially for students? What subjects should they focus on in high school to succeed in the web development industry?
Okay, yeah. So definitely a formal degree is helpful. A lot of successful developers come from like a lot of different educational background, but a bachelor's degree would definitely help you the most when it comes to finding a job later. Um, but for in high school, students should focus on computer science, math, problem solving skills, and mostly classes that needed a lot of computer related things and a lot of calculations.
Hmm.
So courses like programming, web design, or even visual art can also be useful in web development. because it kind of it plays around your crea- creativity, I would say.
Mhm. So, if you recommend that people look towards getting things like bachelor degrees, would you be able to recommend any colleges or universities that are the most renowned for their web courses?
Of course. I would say I recommended universities with strong computer science program, such as MIT, Stanford, Harvard. So basically the Ivy League. There's also UC Berkeley. There's Carnegie Mellon, and there's also Caltech, which are known for their tech programs. However, many local universities in America in general, or like community college, they also offer excellent web development courses as well. And some of the best developers friend that I have, some of them didn't even attend big name schools. But if you did attend big name schools, you are more likely to get a job way faster than everyone. Or maybe even before you graduated, you will get an offer. Mhm.
Mhm. So, aside from further studies, is there anything else that students can do to try to, foster a love for web development?
Of course. So they can join coding clubs, participating in hackathons. I would say hackathon really helps me the most because I get to explore things. And when I'm done creating a project, it's basically kind of like a competition. So there's a reward based on the organization. Or they can also contribute to open source project. So these experiences are definitely valuable. They can also use platform like HackerRank, Code Wars, or LeetCode if they want to do like a solo practice coding challenges to basically improve their problem solving skills. Or they can also start building their own personal project or school project, like group project. That is also a great way to gain hands on experience.
Mhm. And when one of these web development students they entered into the industry, what career opportunities might they expect there?
So the career opportunities is really big. Sectors like tech, finance, e-commerce, and education, or even like medical, they all need web developers because we have like a lot of roles inside of web developers. So they might look for front end, they might also look for back end, or maybe full stack for both of them, or maybe just design alone. So companies kind of like they constantly improve, so the demand for developers is high. Also, there are plenty of like freelance opportunities for web developers who kind of like prefers like a more flexible work style. So basically, almost every company out there will need a web developer to make a website for them so people can browse through. Even if they finish the website, they would need someone to maintain the website. So the opportunity will never be gone. It will always keep adding. Mhm.
Mhm. And well, finally, what makes web development so special that students should consider a career in it?
Mhm. So web development offers unique blends of like creativity and problem solving. So you get to build something tangible from scratch, and every project is different. And the field is like constantly evolving, so there's always something new to learn. You definitely don't want to miss out on the trend. If there's like a new technology, you definitely want to jump into it and learn. Also, web development gives you like a freedom to mostly work remotely. All you really need is just a laptop and an internet, and you can pretty much make a website and then upload it online. Also, it's just like the ability to build project relatively quick, especially since now you have an AI as well that can help you out. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I mean, web development, it's getting so big nowadays, and the skills are just universal and transferable.
Mhm.
Um, so now let's talk about your personal story. How did you get started in web development, or inspired you to pursue a career in it?
Yeah, so I was drawn to web development because of the flexibility it offers. both in terms of working remotely and the freedom to design visually appealing websites by myself. I love how the field allows me to create something um, like something beautiful from scratch. I can use my own idea, I can choose my own colors, design, layout, while also having the ability to work from anywhere at any time. So I can let's say go to school, finish school, and I still have a couple hours before bedtime. I can just slowly create a website slowly.
Mhm.
Days by days, it's gonna turn big eventually. So
Yeah.
it's just the fact that I can build a website on my own without relying on anyone was kind of like a big motivator. But even I do still need to Google once in a while.
Well, you make it sound like a dream, but of course, no career is easy. All of them are quite tricky. And
Yes.
so, what are the biggest challenges that you face as a web developer?
The biggest challenge is definitely staying up to date with the constant evolution of technologies. Every once in a while, there will be some new frameworks, and then there are new tools that are like making it easier for everyone to do things. It can kind of overwhelm to keep the pace because you gotta maintain that you always be at the very front of the new update. But it's also an opportunity to kind of like grow and stay relevant in the industry. So like you don't necessarily have to learn everything at once, but as a person, I'm sorry, I meant as a web developer, you should always be curious and willing to explore new things.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, like you were saying before, it sounds so tricky to keep up to date because it seems like new web tools are appearing almost daily.
Mhm.
So, how do you stay up to date with the constantly evolving web development landscape?
Mhm. So I basically follow tech blogs and then participating in developer communities. I attend webinars, conferences. Sometimes I listen to tech podcasts between like famous companies. Having friends that have a similar idea of what they wanted to do really helps as well. And other than that, I just work on personal projects to keep my skills sharp, basically. Mhm.
Of course, of course. Thank you, Dennis, for sharing all your interesting thoughts about web development. It's a field that's not only fascinating, but it powers the digital world and it offers fantastic career opportunities.
Mhm.
So, if any young people are curious and they enjoy problem solving, then this might be like the perfect path for you.
Of course.
So, for our viewers, after listening to the podcast, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you considered a career in web development? What aspects excite you the most? And if you have any answers to that, feel free to contact us or leave a comment below on the podcast. So, thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Dennis. Your
Mhm. Of course.
insights were incredible.
Mhm.
Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with anyone who you might be interested in learning more about web development. So, until next time, keep exploring.
Thank you, everyone.